All right. Hi, Justin. How are you?
Ann, I've looked forward to this conversation more than any other in a long time, and there's a really interesting reason why. You are first in empathy on Strength Finders. I am dead last, dead last. I am 8-3 print. You are a full, which is almost total lack of feeling, and you are a full feeler print, unconscious motivators. And you have no competition in you. I am like full competition. This will be like almost like in a good way talking to my wife if my wife was an entrepreneur, which would be very interesting because she's an 8-7-4-2 and you're a 7-7-2-4.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I could never see my wife being an entrepreneur. And I'm fascinating how your brain is an entrepreneur. It's amazing to me.
Well, I don't think I grew up wanting to be an entrepreneur. I don't even think I knew what that was.
Right.
It kind of fell in my lap. I just was surrounded by the right people and kind of thought, oh, they're doing it like that. It just came naturally. So it wasn't something that I grew up saying, oh, I want to own my own business one day.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was like you. You're not taught that in school. And then I wasn't around entrepreneurs, but people like us are usually, but not always aliens within our own family, community, and verticals. The only people that understand us are top visionaries on the planet. So I spent most of my life talking to people who they didn't understand what I was talking about. I'm 45 now. Probably took 42 years to finally find people who understood what I was talking about. And they're in, strategic coach and
Yeah.
abundance 360. It's just, you're so interesting and unusual in a good way. Cause like almost everyone I talk to is at least a 7 quick start. And you're not even close to that. It's like a unicorn. It's
My
amazing.
little two.
The only other, so Russ Allen Prince, partner for second company, Mark Fujiwara, who's a 9 quick start, and I'm a 7. He and I have a book coming out about how to build a family office, multifamily office. I have no idea how to do. I don't know how to do that, but we have a book coming out about it. Mark does, and then the third co-author is Russ Allen Prince, who's the editor of Private Wealth magazine. And he, in that world, he's like top in the world. So his Colby is 8911. He's a 1 quick start,
Wow.
a 1.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's
I,
the only one that I talk to that's even, it's amazing.
so what's your role in that new book?
Such a great question. You know why? Because it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. But what happens is that when you have the right mindset, it attracts the right network, and that network creates the right opportunities. So
Yeah.
it's Mark's book. My name is on it, and I'm part of it because the book talks about Second Company. Second Company is a SaaS platform. It's like a LinkedIn connectivity platform for top visionaries on the planet. And so the book talks about that it's called Brevic Network. That company's the connecting platform for people that want to create family offices, multifamily offices. And those people like that, most of them are in the 8-figure, 9-figure revenue world. And
Yeah.
so it's really interesting when you're like a visionary wackadoo like this, then it attracts people like that. And then people that aren't like that are like, what are you even talking about? So, but that's okay. Cause I just like talking to people like you that understand.
Well, I've never met a 1 quick start.
Did I tell you what Mark's Colby is?
You said 9 quick start,
Yeah.
but
Aha.
Prince, a 1 quick start.
Right. But Mark is a 1596. He's a 1 fact finder. A 1. He's a 1
Wow.
fact. And I'm an 8. But he's a 3-8 print. He's a 3-8 and I'm an 8-3. So unconsciously we're collaborative.
Yeah.
And then like you, which is fascinating, he's 3rd in empathy. You're 1, he's 3, which is very rare. He's competition 1, which is the opposite of you. He's maximizer 2. Where are you in maximizer? You're probably low in maximizer. Are you?
I think it's low, yeah.
And so he's competition 1, maximizer 2, empathy 3. So people, you're definitely the exception, but people like us are usually very low in empathy, and he's 3rd.
That's incredible. You guys should do a reality TV show, just the 2 of you guys talking.
we did Shannon Waller for the Strategic Coach Teams podcast.
Yeah.
She interviewed us. So if you want to put that in the links or whatever, but I was more interested in what Mark had to say, because I'm fascinated how his brain works. Like it just doesn't, a 1596 Colby.
But with the empathy.
There's a reason why with that. He was telling me. So Mark is American. His families are from half Japanese, half Chinese. And then his Japanese side is his dad's, and his dad, I guess I haven't met him, but he's in his 90s and like almost like a Buddhist, like Zen, like pure
Yeah.
calm. So Mark gets that.
Mhm.
And then his mom's Chinese side, his mom's family ran a dim sum restaurant in San Francisco. And his
Ah,
mom is full competition,
yeah, yeah.
ruthless. So that's Mark. And Mark's an only child. So he just got all of that dumped into Mark.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's so fascinating. Yeah.
I want to talk about your gratitude journal for Sarah that you write every day.
Of course you do. Yeah. Right.
Well, logistically, how does it work? Like you write it, and I know you read some excerpts in your book, but you're not writing it to her, but is she reading it every day, or does she read it when
Yeah. It's a good
like
question.
like how does that actually work? Because it's
Yeah.
such a fascinating concept. And I was thinking like what a incredible habit to do it every single day, building that gratitude muscle.
So I was talking to, he's a 5 quick start, and he's been saying he wants to partner up for years, and then he keeps saying he can't afford it, and he's like, you can't change how you're wired. And I'm like, that's the wrong answer. You actually can change how you're wired. I was telling him that yesterday. So I can't keep talking to you because you're not rewiring yourself to actually do something. So I am dead last in empathy, and I have found collaborative empathy in my life. Like my wife's a pediatrician, so she's probably 1 in empathy, and then she's a 2-6 print. So for those who don't know, you're a 2-4. So the 2 part is to be needed and appreciated. The most important thing for my wife is for someone to say thank you to her. So I have done everything in my power daily because I have high quick start and high follow through. So it doesn't get forgotten about, handed off, and then it gets executed. It gets done.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me 20 years to do something. I do it and follow through. So I've built that gratitude muscle, built it with constantly being grateful. First thing I do every day is a grateful journal to my wife. And no, she does not read it every day. She does not read it every day. But writing that and building that muscle allows me to understand and appreciate that she needs to have someone say thank you to her. And for whatever it's worth, to appeal to your 2-4 print and empathy, at the end of the day, I've started putting a calendar item to ask her 3 wins for the day.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better at asking her that every single day,
Nice.
where it actually is communicated to her as opposed to me writing it down that she never sees. That's what I mean. You can build that muscle. You can build it, or at least try to learn how to do it.
What do you think you'll do with all those journals?
No one's ever asked me that. I send it to her sometimes. Sometimes the file's so big now that it doesn't go through sometimes. I'll never stop doing them. That's what I know, that I'll never stop. It started October 5th, 2020. So it's been over 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's usually only 1 or 2 or 3 lines even. It's not a
Right.
book.
Right.
But now it's up to 28,129 words that are all about her. Nothing is about me in that. 81 pages.
But like one day, what an incredible gift to have printed and bound to give to Sarah or even to your boys.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. So, hey, whoa, you're not 32 out of 34 in ideation. Whoa.
And then that's
You
my
take a
empathy, right? Like I'm taking what you've made and just like the feels.
Oh my, this is what I mean. This is like literally like talking to my wife. So what we did in Florida, we took all these pictures. I got it. Will people be able to see this? Hold on. You have to see this because
Yeah.
you'll have to understand what a miracle it is that my wife married me. And then that, like, this is why I start. So hold on. You have to see this.
Okay, show me.
So this is how I am. Like, I'm like a child. Okay. So this is, my wife took all these photos and made this beautiful book out of it. Okay. It was beautiful. Like you would do that. You just thought I would never do something like that. So so this is me. Like, I don't like, I like entrepreneurs that like wear all these fancy clothes and like act rich and are rich. Like, that's fine. I'm not that person. So this is the cover of our family photo from Florida, and my wonderful mom came with my wonderful wife and our two wonderful kids. So here it is. Are you okay? There we go.
Can't wait
This
to see
is
this.
this is the cover. This is the cover.
What?
Yes. Can you see that? I am wearing a Style Boys sweatshirt. Style Boys. Okay. That is a Andy Samberg ridiculous, completely ridiculous movie. And I wore that sweatshirt, I think, every day I was in Florida. It was washed several times, but yeah, actually, it's right here. Look, it's right here. I've got it right here. So there you go. So that is like, I find the really good entrepreneurs, they're like little kids. They're like little misfits. So I will never stop being that. But that's like literally what my wife did. She took all these things and like, oh wow, adventure is calling. There you go. So I
Wow.
have
Yeah.
so what would probably not be a good idea is if I sent her the Grateful Journal and be like, hey, could you make a book out of this? Bad idea. Maybe I'm not going to do that, but I could send it to someone on your team and maybe they could do it. I couldn't do
We
it. It
can
would
help you
be
with that, Justin.
wait, say that again.
Yeah, we can help you with that.
Thanks. Okay, well maybe I will do that. That's a good idea, but I mean, yeah, because I can write it down, but I'm a one implementer, so like, and you're a four, so you could make it pretty and colorful and all that stuff.
So this gratitude, I mean, I love this idea, and I think having a gratitude practice is so important. And we talk about how it does rewire your brain. So
Yes.
what does that look like in your family? Have you passed any of those habits down to your kids? Do you guys have any family rituals that you guys do? Like with our 4-year-old, we do something every night at bedtime called 5 things, and we ask
Mm.
5 questions. It's who are you kind to today? What new thing did you try?
It's a good
Uh,
idea.
well, so it's who were you kind to today? What new thing did you try? What mistake did you make? Name an emotion that you felt, and like what emotion did you feel and when was it? And then the last one is gratitude. And we always end with gratitude. And sometimes if we're going to bed late, like we still will do one thing, which is just gratitude. And so we do that every night with him. And I think we've done it enough where he wants to do it and he asks to do it, even if we're rushing. He's like, can we still do one thing tonight? And so I think it's pretty neat that he has kind of picked up on that habit.
That is wonderful to hear that. Thank you for telling me. My wife reads to our children and me. We all like sit next to her like children, and so she reads to us.
What does she read?
I don't know. I don't actually pay attention to what she reads. I just like listening to her talk. And then I always ask her questions because I have a hard time following it. And she's like, just let me read. And then we do a thing. Okay, this is hilarious. And so what happens is like, I think it's really hilarious if somebody like messes up a word and then like turns it into a different word by accident. So one of my kids, like 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, they wanted to say snuggle and talk. So they said snog. And so we all started laughing. So we snog every single night. So we always have at least a couple minutes where one of us is in either all 4 of us or one of us is in one of the kids' rooms. And okay, so there's me being a human. And then my advice to my children, my 2 sons who are 8 and 10, both 9 quick starts, is misdemeanors okay, felonies bad. That is my
Both
misdemeanor
9
okay.
quick starts, huh?
2296 3297. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So what businesses are they starting to think about starting? What's their areas of interest? How are they gonna
oh yeah.
change the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah, so the little guy wants to be a fertility doctor or a general in the army. He is an incredible leader. He's my wife's lovingness with my like he's a really good soccer player. He'll jump in front of a ball. He's a great defender. He's a little guy, really tiny, but he's a great defender and will like he would like jump in front of a ball like a Secret Service agent would jump in front of the president, like that kind of. So then the 10-year-old full maniac, that's a maniac to me is a compliment. And he's running 21-minute 5K races as a 9-year-old. He did that. That's world class. I mean, and he's so and he just wants to be outside playing. I could see him going to the Olympics as a runner.
Yeah.
Nothing annoys me more than parents that brag about their children like that, but he's not he's like a freakishly weird distance runner that store papers have done stories on him already. So
That's amazing.
well, thank you. The greatest part of being an entrepreneur, I don't know if I told, like, because my dad died when I was 13, so I know what it's like not to have a dad around. And then my dad was very old when I was born. He was 61, so he was in World War II hero. Shot down multiple times in combat. Well, you read the book, you know.
Yeah, the journals are incredible.
Yeah, that's my litmus test. So I
Yeah.
don't understand people that make excuses. I have no empathy for that. But
Yeah.
people like you that don't make excuses, I have endless empathy. I look at our kids and I'm like, oh, that's the greatest part of being an entrepreneur is I get to, show them this world exists and then they can do whatever they want with it. Look at you, got me to be a full human in this conversation. It's
Let's
impressive.
talk about core values because I know they're super important to your business. Have you translated any of that work over to the family? Because in our Empowered Families program, we
Everything.
work with the couples and the individuals create their individual values, and then they come together and they create family values. And then that becomes
Everything.
the filter for every single decision, just like in business. We use those
100%.
core values to filter. Does hanging out with these people align with our core values? Does starting this organization align with our core values? Everything, right?
Everything.
So
Yeah.
do you see that your family core values are aligned with your business core values?
My brain turns everything into patterns and habits, everything. Most of the people I talk to, most visionaries, not all, most of them are ADHD diagnosed or undiagnosed. Most of them.
Yeah.
Not a disorder, sign of genius. Most of them are very high quick start, boom, 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 boom. And then they're little to no follow through. They're actually the opposite Colby score of you. They're
Yes.
the opposite. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're all over the place, ideators, so I can keep up with them and follow through. That's very rare. I am the opposite of all over the place. I'm ultra hyper focused. So there are only two things that I care about on a 10x level, only two. And this translates to family and everything because one of them is, so one is 10xing experiences in life with family. I have never, and actually you would know probably better than anyone I've ever talked to. I have never met anyone ever that has had a good family life that hasn't had a good life. If you know someone that has had a good family life that has not had a good life, I would like to meet them. I
Yeah.
have never met that person. I don't think I will, but if you know someone, please introduce me to that person. So that's one. The second 10x is growing network on a global level. When you do that, you create endless opportunities for your network and yourself. So there's no outbound sales funnels nonsense. I don't understand any of that stuff. It annoys me. And then everything is a litmus test based on, I can talk to someone like you and you provide value to me and I provide value to you. I'll talk to you forever because you allow me to spend time with my family. If I talk to someone who's not like you and they're going to take time away from me and my family, I will never talk to that person again. So that is completely aligned. Now that might be hard for you to hear that because of the empathy, but like, that's what it is. That's my entire litmus test. Is it someone who's going to allow me to spend more time with my family or someone who's going to waste my time and take time away from my family?
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's highly aligned with our work because part of our program is getting like really clear about what's important to you so that you can say no to the things that aren't a hell yes. And it's easier
Correct.
to say no to those things. And
I
you
say
don't
no to
feel
almost
guilty.
everything.
Yep.
Almost everything.
Yep.
I mean, it's just again, this is a compliment. With your full empathy, it's very interesting how you can channel that only into a certain type of person. That's very interesting to me.
I mean, I think I credit the work, right? Like it's given me that clarity and the confidence to do it and not feel bad about it because it's aligned with my values and my vision for my family.
Correct. Yeah. It probably took you a lot longer to learn that.
Yes. Yes.
And because you're so high in includer.
And it's still a work in progress, right? Like
That's always going to be. That's
Yeah.
always going to be. Like, so what's always going to be a work in progress for me always is waiting for people to do something. That's always going to be no, because I'm activate, maximize, achieve.
Yeah.
That is always going to be like, as a journalist, it's like, what can you do in the next 5 minutes? It's not 5 years. So biggest adjustments to this life is like just being patient and waiting for other people. I mean, but that's something to always work on, but that's
Yeah.
good because like that other person who really bothered me because they weren't doing anything and they said you can't rewire yourself. I'm like, well, yes, you can. You
Yeah.
can help how you're wired.
What you said earlier was really powerful about nobody has a good family life that doesn't have a good life.
Have you ever met any? It's well, so
I mean,
there's
that's like, it's such a simple idea, and it's highly aligned with the idea that family life is foundational to everything else, right? Like when family is good, then you can easily make everything else work. But when family is hard and there's struggle and misalignment, then it's hard to focus at work. It's hard to be present with other people. You know, you can't, everything else is just,
yeah. So there's two things for that. Again, my brain turns everything into patterns. It's just what it does. Okay. So, and then all I do is talk to ideators all day. You're an exception to that, but and then I'm like, that's a great idea. I'll activate, maximize, achieve. Oh, I'm going through a divorce. I don't see my children. I never had a family. That's a bad idea. I'm going to activate, maximize, achieve, not doing that. That's what my brain literally does. That's what it does. And then I'm 100% black and white. I was on a show like this and the host is like, oh, your black and white thinking allows you to have endless color in your life. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll think about that. Hey, but that makes sense. That makes sense. Then my wife's 100% gray. So that's also allowed me to have color. So I've thought about this from a scientific, fundamental thing. And again, if you can show me an exception to this, I would like to know because I don't think there is, but if you know one, let me know. So the fundamental, logical, scientific reason for any living thing to exist is to create more living things. If that wasn't it, then there would be no life. So, I mean, there can be an argument to that, I guess, but if you know of a living thing where the fundamental reason they're there is not to create other living things, please, I'd like to know that. No one's ever told me an example of that. The way I look at entrepreneurship is that it's allowed me to do fundamental purpose, create living things, and then something beyond that.
yeah.
So that's one. Second, the most miserable people I know, and I talk to a lot of, as you do too, talk to a lot of very, very wealthy people. The most miserable people I know always lead with, oh, hey, had a big exit, made the, whatever those lists are, Inc. 5000, whatever those lists are, just launched another office, got 100th employee, hit the 20 million revenue. So if there's more than 3 of those things said in got a new car, more, okay. So if there are 3 or more of those things said in a row within the first couple minutes, I will always ask, how's your family, whatever that is. And certainly not always, there are exceptions, but many times is, I'm going through a divorce, never see my family, never had a family. And those are the most miserable people I know. So I'm like, well, that's a bad idea. I'm not going to do that. That's literally what my brain does.
It's so hard. I mean, Sunny and I had a couple of ahas that made us realize if we're going to keep doing this entrepreneurship thing, that we have to figure out a way to have our businesses serve our family vision and not the other way around. Like how does what we're growing really help us achieve what we're trying to do as a family, what we're trying to build as a family? Because if the focus is the other way around, it doesn't work. Everything's going to fall apart.
I mean, the odds are that everything will fall apart. I was talking to, he's an 8 quick start. My wife's like, stop identifying people by numbers. But that's how I see people. I see people as numbers. I do. I'm totally fine admitting that. I see license plate, like in Illinois, there's 4 number license plates. I'm like, oh, that's a bad Colby, or that's a good Colby. Like, our kids, I got my kids doing that too, by the way. My wife's like, oh my God. So I was talking to I have to be careful how I say this. He had married a high quick start as well. So no high quick start, low follow through. So no stability for either of them. So he's in the United States doing some like philanthropy, charity stuff, helping people. And he was telling me his wife has the kids halfway around the world and he never sees them, and they're going through a horrible divorce because there's no stability. And then they tried to do the purpose first instead of the family. They they did the opposite of what you just said.
Yeah.
And there was no stability. I mean, your house is the ultimate. Your husband's got a 5.6 print, like pure logic. I mean, pure safety, really smart. I bet his IQ is off the charts. Oh my God.
He's a really great problem solver.
What has he done his IQ?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Ask him. I bet his IQ is like 150. I bet. Yeah, because he's like deep in thought, must protect family at all costs. That's my wife, just breaking rules. Did I ever tell you what my wife tells me before parent teacher conferences? You want to guess what she tells me before parent teacher conferences? They're on Zoom usually. Well, there are in person sometimes. Take it. You might get this. Guess what my wife tells me before that.
Oh gosh. Maybe like put clothes on and don't embarrass me.
That was wonderful guesses. Definitely, you're very close with the second one. Although don't put clothes on is a very good thinking process. Very good thinking process. She says 3 words, 3.5 words to me. Don't say anything.
I was gonna say like, don't ask any questions.
Don't say anything. Nothing I say can go well in a parent teacher conference because those folks, they're probably one quick stars.
Have I told you about our family decade dream? Do you know
No,
about this?
no.
So by the end of 2029, over the past 10 years, our goal is to have taken 2,000 free days as a family.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So Decade Dream is part of our Empowered Families program. We have all the couples fill out individual decade dreams and then family decade dreams. But our family decade dream has really shifted the way that we make decisions. So, our decade dream in conjunction with our core values, really those two things serve as North Star guiding light for all of our decisions. Are we going to start this business? Are we going to say yes to joining the sport? Any filter, it serves as a filter for all of our decision making. This year, I think to be on track to hit our decade dream, we have to do around 170 free days. And by the end of 2029, it will be over 300 free days as a family for us to hit that number. Do you guys have anything, like if you had to pull something out of thin air, I'm going to put you on the spot. What would be a decade dream for your family?
Oh, we have our 10-year vision board upstairs.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So what's on that?
I don't like to measure things with numbers and stuff. It bothers me. I can go grab it. Yeah, we have a 5. You won't be able to see this. We have no, hold on. This is the back of it. There's nothing there. We have no future. Okay. Righty, there it is. Woo, there it is. Okay, so I don't know what you saw there.
Is that just a frame that you made into a whiteboard?
I don't know. I have no idea where my wife did all this. I'll read my wife's more because hers is better. Yeah, her 10-year goal is to go to Australia, Alaska, and Tahiti. That sounds fun. 2-day work week. She has a 3-day one now. She used to have 4. That was full time as a pediatrician. Can you hear me? As full.
Yeah.
And then now it's down to 3 because of successive companies, and then she wants to go down to 2. And then, this is a good one. Watch Jake run at college and Chase's soccer games. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Jake's 10-year goal, he'll be 19 then, is college track team, girlfriend, and friends. That's good stuff. Wouldn't life be great? You got a college track team, you got a girlfriend and friends.
He's already thinking like a teenager.
Yeah, but that's like, people overcomplicate things. So I think and then the little guy, 10 years, oh my baby, he's 3rd dog, high school soccer team, and club soccer, and girlfriend. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, here's my 10-year. Here we go. You'll appreciate this one. So my 10-year, I'll be 54, 200 annual free days. And honestly, like every day I do this is a free day. None of this is work for me. None of this is fun. Coach and strategic coach. I apply to be a coach and strategic coach.
Nice.
I can't do it yet because I don't have the empathy for it. I have to learn. It'll take 10 years for me. No, I'm serious. I can't, because like a small business owner, like think of like a 7734 CPA financial advisor who's like, should I hire another person, or like, oh, my assistant's bothering me? And my advice now would be stop complaining. I can't say that. And then,
You
and
get
then
that as a coach.
when you stop it, yeah, stop being a baby. What are you talking about? Okay, and then I'm guessing you don't say that to people. And then Brepic Foundation to help younger entrepreneurs. So
Nice.
there's Brepic scholarships now and all that stuff, but really,
Nice.
okay. So, boy, this has been like a big show and tell with all sorts of stuff
I
today.
know. What else do you
Well,
have over there?
Got let's see. Not that's it. That's all I've got. So like people are like, going to all my offices and traveling all over. I'm like, yeah, I have 2 offices, my living room and the backyard one. It's nice. So I think since COVID, done like 4 one-on-one in-person meetings, and then obviously go to strategic coach and stuff, and then going to Abundance 360. But like, no, I'd rather be at home with my family. I mean, that's very lucky, very fortunate for that. Very fortunate.
Tell me about this question that you ask at the end of every day. Did I have a good experience with my family?
There are only 2 things that I ask every day. Only 2. Did I have a good experience that day with my family? There has never been a day since I started asking that where the answer to that wasn't yes. There's never, I mean, one, my wife is really funny and sweet and beautiful and, all that. So like anything with her is funny and fun. And then my kids are complete maniacs, so they're hilarious. And so that it's always yes. And then the second one is, did network grow on a global level? So, and this is an example of that. So I found all this other stuff takes care of itself.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like Strategic Coach has like the win streak app and, keeping
Mhm.
things positive. And then, so like I found that those are really the only 2 things that matter to me. Like that's a win for the day, as long as those are yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever share the answer to those questions with anyone? Kind of
Well,
like what you do with your morning gratitude journal. Do you ever do like a
yeah, that's a good question. So like on LinkedIn, and I already included this conversation in that, I do a grateful journal on LinkedIn every Monday through Friday. Many times I include something that we did as a family. We were in Florida over Christmas, New Year's. I just posted the grateful journal was glad our sons caught a fish or whatever.
Yeah.
Son was captaining boat, or we went parasailing. So yeah, that's my wife and I, somehow we got on the Today Show and we're in all this national media for going on a date every week, once a week without the kids in 2008. So we still go on dates at least once a week, usually lunch on Wednesday and or Thursday.
Nice.
And so I always post about that too.
I can tell by the way that you talk about Sarah that you have some sort of gratitude habit practice,
How can you tell that?
because the way that you talk about her and the love and admiration, I feel like that only comes out if somebody has been really intentional about looking for those moments to be grateful for.
So you just brought out my unconscious into the conscious. So I appreciate that. I didn't realize that where it felt like, or just how I get like it's in my head, is that like she's the most important person on planet. And so I need to understand that and I understand what life was like without her.
Yeah.
It was not good. Our first date was August 28th, 2004. I waited until September 5th, 2004 to tell her that I loved her, because I thought August 28th, 2004 would be too fast. So I waited a week, a
What's
full
your
week.
favorite thing about her?
About her?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to laugh at this. So my wife is Jewish. I guess I'm kind of Jewish. I'm all religions. So before a Jewish wedding, the rabbi, you go to the rabbi for a couple weeks ahead of time, and I don't know, he or she prepares you for the wedding. And so the rabbi, he asks me, what do you love about Sarah? And I went on for, I don't know, 10 minutes. she's kind, she's loving, she cares about others first. She's a good person. She's a part of a stable family. She's really smart. She's beautiful. She takes care of herself. She loves animals. I'm just going on and on and on and on and on and on. And then he asks her, what do you like about Justin? And she just sat there. And she goes, well, he's a really hard worker. Yep. And then, yep, some hard worker. And then she's like, this was a while ago. She's like, oh, well, he manages, or I was a sports editor at the time. She's like, oh, he's in charge of people twice his age. That was it. That was it. So, and we're still married because I'm a good worker.
What about this idea about people in your life giving you energy or boring you or giving you energy?
There's 3 types of people I don't talk to, or if I do talk to them, they go away very quickly. 1 is boring people.
Yeah.
2 is time vampires. Those are the worst. That was like that one guy who said, I can't change my wiring.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bunch of BS. That's not true. That's wrong. And the 3rd is mediocre. High achievers don't like mediocre people. Mediocre people don't like high achievers.
Yeah.
They just don't. Okay. People like you, they give me endless energy and joy. I can't tell you how many people I talk to every single week. Every week they're like, wait. You just talk to cool visionaries all day and then connect them and get them in news. I go, yeah, and they're like, oh, I want to do that. I go, well, go do it. I mean, because I never get tired of it.
Yeah.
There's only 2 shiny objects, family and then doing that.
Yeah.
Never get tired of it.
What was it that gave you that clarity in your purpose of those 2 things, family and connections? What? Because a lot of people have done a lot of work and still don't have that kind of clarity. But what a gift to you and your family now that you do have that clarity, right?
Oh, yeah. I've always had this clarity. I was this person before I was born. I was born to be this person. You're either born to be someone like this or you're not. But if you are, then you can work on your wiring and mindset. But with having a dad who was World War II hero, and his journal from Battle of Hurtgen Forest is one of the greatest things ever written. And then there's some excerpts in the new book. And then my mom has more hustle than anyone I've ever met. And then I write just like my dad does, with different words, but the same boom, 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 boom. So I'm the product of that. And I've always connected and written about cool people changing the world since since right when I was born. I mean, my parents met because a drunk driver hit my dad and broke every bone. Dad broke every bone in his body, and my mom was his nurse. That's how they met. So I was just born with a story, and here I am.
So what would you tell people that don't have that kind of clarity, though, that didn't grow up with those life experiences and those parents who, if they're still struggling to try to figure out what their purpose is, how do they get that clarity if they haven't gone through what you've gone through?
Yeah. This is something that you can always refine and define it in places like Strategic Coach and Entrepreneurs Organization and Abundance 360. Write down 30 things that you do every day, and then you cross off 27 that you don't like doing or not good at, and then you circle 3 that you like doing and are good at, and then there's their mission statement. Make a couple sentences out of that. But
yeah, hard work though if you don't have that clarity and you're trying
Nope. This is where I will not. Nope. No excuses. What separates entrepreneurs at the highest level, they don't make excuses. There are no excuses at the highest level. Entrepreneurs don't make excuses.
Yeah, but I think there's an aspect of you kind of have to go through some tough crap to have that clarity. So that's true.
There's 4 things that separate entrepreneurs from humans, consultants, business owners. 4 things. All I do is talk to visionaries. I don't talk to business owners. They bore me. I don't talk to consultants. They bore me. Employees, they bore me because they're complaining about stuff.
Yeah.
So here are the 4 things that separate entrepreneurs from everyone else. 4 things. I haven't met one of those people that hasn't overcome at least one of the following 4 things. Most are 2 or 3. Most people I talk to now are 3s and 4s. So the 4 things are bankruptcy and potential bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, 2, depression, 3, the highest level of anxiety that you can imagine, and 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. So humans, business owners, consultants, those are excuses. Excuses.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, figure it out. And then the dovetail, and this is why I wrote the book, the dovetail is that they use those coping skills to create all this stuff, and then there's nothing meaningful, no family, torched family. That's essential to go through those things. Essential. Have you met one person like us that hasn't been through at least one of those 4 things? Have you met one?
That's like the catalyst, right? Like the spark to that fire that makes us
But
want
have
to.
you met one? Have you met one? I'm not talking about a silver spoon that took over their parents' company. I'm
Yeah.
talking about a real entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I haven't met one.
Because if you don't have one of those 4, then it's easier to just follow status quo and just do whatever you're doing.
Yeah, that's easy to play. Not so where I grew up, there's a lot of that because they come from wealth and then they're playing not to lose. They're not playing to win. And then if something actually happens negative, they don't, chaos, they can't handle.
Right.
If you meet a person like that, I really want to meet that person.
I don't think I know anyone like that.
I haven't seen it. And it's very interesting. When I first started first company in 2017, it was usually just 1s and 2s because I was still talking to like small business owners and consultants.
Mhm.
Then getting to like the 25K a year strategic coach and abundance 360 groups, it's usually 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
It's really, and I always think about Dan Sullivan, bankrupt and divorced on the same day in his mid 30s. On the same day. I mean, just imagine that. Oh my God. I mean, that's what it takes. I mean, bankrupt and divorced on the same day.
Yeah.
Think about that. I think about that all the time. One, I would never go. I'm 3 of those 4. I would never put my family in risk of being bankrupt, but then being divorced on the same day in your mid 30s.
But look at the amazing, beautiful organization that came out of that.
I know. That's my point.
We would have never met if that hadn't happened.
Correct. Well, and it wouldn't have existed without his wife, Babs. I
Yeah.
mean, Dan would probably be dead he wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be. I mean, that's like me. That's why me without my wife Sarah would be a disaster. And that's why one of the chapters in the books is find your Babs or have your Babs find you. Babs Smith is Dan's wife. Yeah, because otherwise, nothing. Find your Sonny. Find your Sonny or have your Sonny find you.
I know. He's my calm to my storm.
How are you a storm with empathy developer includer? With a 2-4 print. No way you're a storm. No way.
There's a
But
little
he'd
bit of
be
chaos
calm.
that follows me.
Okay, fine. I guess he'd be calm to anybody. But
Yeah.
his name is Sonny and he's a 5-6 print and he's a relator.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh my God. Your house has got to be the calmest house. If
If
you came in our house, you'd
If Sonny were living by himself with our kids, it would be a very calm house. I bring a little bit of chaos. My empathy and my 2 print wants to help everybody. And so I'm like, oh, sure, I'll do that. And so there's a lot of projects and a lot of things going on.
Oh, God.
So
That would
that's why
drive
this
me
work has been
nuts.
powerful, because now it's progress towards saying no to the things that aren't a hell yes.
That's what my wife had to learn. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, just stop talking to these people. She's finally stopping. She's finally starting to, I mean, kind of. Like, you're wasting your time. But having kids was helpful for that.
But I just want to help, and
She's a pediatrician. She's born to, yeah. It's okay. I love my wife. I love her thank God for my wife. Thank God every single day.
All right. So what's one piece of advice that you would share with young married couples?
Don't take photos like this with your family.
You know what, though? You wore that sweatshirt and your wife didn't even care. She just put it on the
Look at this.
cover.
Look at my beautiful wife in her nice clothes. Look at that. Look at that.
That is just unconditional love. She doesn't even care.
She cares. And then the back of it, we did a silly photo. So here you go. And then my son in the middle with the hand over his head, that is my wife's reaction to me most of the time. Oh, I married this buffoon. This silly, ridiculous, but she I make her laugh. She's laughing at me, but that's okay. That's okay. Right.
What's your one piece of advice for
Besides
married
the
couples?
photo,
Yeah.
there's two. There's two
Mhm.
because it's from one person. And I wrote about him in the book, my uncle, my dad's last living brother. He was married at the time for 50 plus years, and
Mm.
he passed away and his wife did too. But I asked him, hey, what's a good marriage? And he's like, two things. One, always put your wife's needs before yours, which I really try to do. I really try to do that. And then the second is never touch the thermostat.
Mm.
So I never touch the thermostat ever.
Oh, that is one thing my husband and I are not aligned on, the thermostat.
Well, he should never touch the thermostat. My uncle was married 50 years. You'd never touch the thermostat. To
Yeah.
get your husband, he wants to be knowledgeable and smart. Tell him to stop touching the thermostat. And he wants to be safe and secure. You're going to kill him if he keeps touching the thermostat.
I'll check the app and I'll be like, did you change the temperature? What are you
Tell
doing?
him to stop. I just gave you that. You asked me for advice. If there's nothing else that can be done in this interview, tell him to stop touching the damn thermostat. You don't do that.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him that you said he's not allowed to touch it anymore.
My uncle told me, my uncle was a war hero, MIT type brain, a physicist, inventor, genius. He was the valedictorian of his school, went to Wisconsin on a full scholarship. His wife was, whatever the hell the damn second place thing is. She was a genius. And they raised 3 kids. They all went to high level liberal arts private colleges. His advice, don't touch the thermostat.
Yeah,
Tell your husband to
Gold.
stop touching the damn thermostat.
that's gold right there.
Well, but it's true. The guy's a smart guy. Tell him to stop doing that. It's ridiculous. The guy, you don't.
No, we have 8 sleep. You know, the cooling pad for the mattress.
Yeah,
Even the temperature on my side of the 8 sleep.
The man doesn't learn.
Yeah.
He wants to be knowledgeable and smart, and he's doing this cockamamie nonsense. Nonsense. That's what he's doing. He wants to be a relator.
I know.
Nonsense. He's
I know.
full of it. All he has to do is not touch that damn thermostat, and he's got to cause problems.
Yeah.
No reason to. That's it. There's nothing to do with entrepreneurship yet. Everything. In fact, I might add to my vision board, don't touch the thermostat, even though I don't touch it.
Justin, if I could get this resolved, you might have solved one of the biggest issues in our relationship.
It'd be interesting if it was 2 men married to each other because that's a woman thing. Women do not want the man to, or if it was 2 women, that would be interesting.
Yeah, who gets to control it?
Who gets to control the thermostat? Oh my God. This is the best interview ever. Oh man. 2 no ideators talking about complete nonsense and then the husband annoying the wife. Perfect. But this is how I really am. I'd much prefer this than talking about business owner stuff. It's nonsense. All right. Thank you.
It's been fun, Justin. I'm so
Yeah.
glad we got to do this.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear this because I'll listen to this during my runs. And I'm like, wow. My wife married me after listening to that. Oh, yeah. All right, good. Great interview.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ann.